I want to give everybody permission to dream again. Start dreaming again. Yes, work. Get your job. If you need a job, hey, pay the bills. I understand that. But don't put it before your gift. I wish I had more time. I'm really condensing a 3-hour seminar into just a handful of minutes in a workshop. If I had more time, I would go through exercises. But I just highly encourage everybody, start stirring up your dream again. Put some time into that. I believe that you will find more success and significance in your gift than just a good job. Everybody with me so far? This is probably a very different seminar than you're used to hearing. But that's my message to everybody. One of my mentors is John C. Maxwell. Anybody familiar with John C. Maxwell? Authority on Leadership. And he said something profound. He said that if you were to rate your gift on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, he said a lot of people spend too much time working on their weaknesses. He said spend more time working on your strengths than you do on your weaknesses. He said that if you're trying to improve in an area on a scale of 1 to 10, it's almost like the most you'll probably improve is 1 or 2 notches when it comes to your gift. Follow where he's going with this. 1 or 2 notches. So if you're working on something that you're a 2 at, and you invest all your time and resources and value into that, the most you'll probably grow it to is about a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. And people don't pay for 4s. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. People pay for 9s and 10s. So he said, focus more on where you're a 7 or an 8. What are you gifted at? You're passionate at? And refine that. Invest your education in that. Invest your time in that. Surround yourself with experts in those arenas, because then you can go from a 7 or an 8 to a 9 and a 10, and you won't have to worry about money. People will pay for 9s and 10s. So, with that being said, I want to recommend a couple of resources to you all. How many would like some resources? Anything I can do to read, or for those who, most of you like to read, so this will be perfect for you. I highly recommend a book called Purpose-Driven Life. How many people read Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren? Get a copy of that. It comes on audio. Actually, I think most of these come on audio as well. You can listen in your car when you're not able to read. The best book on leadership when it comes to really discovering your true gifts that I've ever read is by Dr. Miles Monroe, and it's called Becoming a Leader. Becoming a Leader by Dr. Miles Monroe, M-Y-L-E-S. And he's got some great stuff on YouTube as well. In fact, if you're a YouTuber, put his name in and look up the 10 leadership attitudes. It'll really fire you up about who you really are. My wife introduced me to this one. She studied personalities and career assessments and all sorts of things in psychology. It's called Please Understand Me, Too, about personality. I learned so much about myself, right? Great book. Anybody need me to slow down?
Author?
That's by Dr. David Keirsey, K-E-I-R-S-E-Y. There's another good one. It's funny, the guy that didn't like to read all these books. You should see my library. This one is called Now Discover Your Strengths, but actually the first book is Strength Finder. Strength Finder. And that's by Marcus Buckingham and Donald Clifton. Strength Finder. That will help you to identify where are my strengths, what are my natural abilities and skills. Everybody got that? On leadership, John C. Maxwell, I just quoted him about the scale of 1 to 10. Great book called the Maxwell Leadership Bible. For those who like biblical success principles, great book. He talks about all the leadership lessons that he's learned about discovering the leader inside of you. And it's called the Maxwell Leadership Bible by John C. Maxwell. How many people feel like, but I just don't have the time? Where am I going to find the time? You know, or where do I start? I don't know what I want. Anybody ever felt like that before? It's kind of fuzzy. Just learning about goal setting is one of the most valuable things I've ever done in my life. I got a chance to spend time with a billionaire by the name of Paul J. Meyer before he passed a couple years ago. One of the most life-changing experiences ever. He was running 43 corporations before he passed. President of none. That was his claim to fame. You know, owner of a gazillion companies, president of none. There's something to be said. How many people struggle to just run one business, right? But he was so effective, probably the most effective person I've ever met in my life with his time. And he probably produced 10 lifetimes worth of things in his lifetime compared to normal standards. But first it was inspiring, and then it was overwhelming to look at all of his accomplishments. And it made me feel like this is impossible. He's just gifted to accomplish things. Until one day he taught us his system for achievement, the way he planned out a 5-year vision and broke it down into annual goals and broke it down into bite-sized pieces and lived life according to priorities. And so one of the presidents of one of his companies wrote a book called The Language of Achievement. Great book. You probably have to get this one online. The Language of Achievement by David Byrd, B-Y-R-D. It'll teach you how to cast your vision, break your vision down and your goals down so you can start making small accomplishments over time. Speaking of that, there will come a point in time where you might get overwhelmed and you might feel like this is too much. You know, we hear that phrase, how do you eat an elephant? I don't know how people eat elephants, but I get the concept, one bite at a time. And one of the most powerful programs that I've ever read and listened to is by Darren Hardy. It's called The Compound Effect. The Compound Effect. You will be convinced that you don't have to do everything in order to create great results. In fact, he's the head of success. He's a publisher of Success Magazine now. So he interviews the most successful people in the world. Oh, it's up here? Oh, perfect. This is The Compound Effect. Don't have time to go into it, but get this program, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, and you'll be convinced that little things daily compounded over time will make a significant impact. One quick example of that, did you know that termites do more damage than earthquakes and tornadoes combined? How do they do it? Tiny little bites. Tiny little bites. Okay. And then the program I started with, Napoleon Hill, The Science of Personal Achievement. That's the name of the CD program. Also the Law of Success, Think and Grow Rich. Just look up Napoleon Hill, you can't go wrong. But that'll introduce you to what he learned after studying the 500 most successful people in the world and figured out what they had in common. Many of them never made it past 3rd grade. The Thomas Edison's, Henry Ford's of the world, the Mahatma Gandhi's, the greats of that time.